in this moment, I'm having a conflict with the concept of free will. When you speak, it sounds like you're saying we have no free will. Can you speak about free will with will and co-creation, please? It's so complicated to speak about because they seem to contradict themselves. So on the human level, the human is an appearance happening in every moment. There's thoughts and feelings and reactions happening in every moment, like boop, boop, boop. These are happening. And then what can happen is there can be an identification that grabs onto that and says, that is who I am. That is me. And then that me seemingly goes through time. And that me feels like it's got free will. So it has the choice to pick between a chocolate bar and a carrot. But actually, it just has the story of free will and choice. In the moment, it doesn't, because they're just appearing. So if you look at Khaleesi, for example, who's laying right here next to me, if I put in front of her a carrot and a chicken, everyone can guess that she'll most probably pick the chicken. It's highly unlikely she'll pick the carrot. Why? Because that's her genetic predisposition to eat a high percentage of meat. Sometimes she picks carrot, but it's really unlikely she's going to pick it with a chicken. So you can see that even though there's the appearance of choice in the moment, like she's like, so there's the appearance of choice, so we describe it as choice, there is actually no choice, because she is a robot that's made up to have particular likes and dislikes, and that is happening in this moment. In this moment, a choice is made, and then that choice doesn't belong to anyone, and then there's appearance of somebody that says my choice. And that's okay to say your choice. That's a description of the body making a choice, but it doesn't belong to you. It's not actually a you that it belongs to, because who is that you? So this is so hard to say, but I give it my best shot. But then when you have these awakening experiences and these shifts, the body does begin to align more with that shift. But this is an endless expansion that can happen as the human evolves. And so as you have that shift, and when you're waking up and reconditioning yourself on the human level, you begin to see that on the ultimate level, everything is your choice, because who you are is consciousness, and consciousness is creating everything. So what you could say is that you, on the ultimate level, are the creator. So it's best to line that reality up more and more with the person. So it's seeing that the person has no free will, but it's also seeing that the way that life creates is that whatever energy it's creating, that's the world that's going to be seen. So if consciousness creates a person that believes anything's possible, then this is going to be more in line with its vibration as consciousness. If consciousness creates a person that is always believing that it's a shithead and it's bad and that it's wrong, that is less in line with who you are. And there's going to be more friction and more discomfort. Just like if you're trying to drag a dog or drag yourself through a thorn bush. That's okay, but it's less in vibration with your true way of being. So there is this lining up more with who you are, which is kind of a mixture between the conditioned being and your true self. This is really hard to put into words. So your true being is always an expansion. Your true being is always about expanding, because that is the nature of consciousness. It's non-limitation. Your essence is limitless, without limit, even without the idea of limit. And you can see that the world is reflecting that, because the world is always expanding. It's always getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So when the human lines up with that reality, the human is going to be more balanced because it's in line with its true essence. This way of expansion, this place of expansion. Now, when you look at wants and not wanting, not wants as in, this isn't including seeking, when you believe that your pleasure is going to bring you freedom. This is just coming back to natural wants. Your wants feel expansive, and your not wanting feels contracting. So wanting in the positive goes more in line with your true essence as consciousness, and not wanting goes more against your true essence as consciousness. So on the human level, I feel one of the better ways to live is to be in a place of wanting rather than not wanting. And I think this makes you a more happy and balanced human. A lot of people on the human level live opposite to themselves, and they're always in, I don't want that, and they're always fighting life. But this is all reconditioning in the human level, and I don't always do it. I'm sometimes in not want. No, I don't want. And I try to look at that and recondition it. But this isn't seeking wants, because it gets very confused, because when you're learning that about non-duality, you're often learning that it's not in the cake, it's not in the money. And so you're kind of in a way being anti-wants. But what that's trying to teach you is that your freedom isn't in it, that wanting is actually really impersonal, and it doesn't really matter what you freaking get. Like at the moment, I told you last week, I'm in such a tiny apartment, which is really beautiful. It's by the beach, but I'm such a tiny apartment it's not my home for this period that we're going through. Like you all know, I just can't talk about it on YouTube because otherwise my videos get blocked. So for this period, and in the past, I had the idea that a bigger house would be better for me, but it doesn't change your sense of being. It doesn't change your freedom. The house might be more pleasurable, but pleasure is just something that comes and goes. It doesn't actually affect your day that much. It doesn't really matter. And this is the way, like, nothing really matters. And this is the way you have to be in order to get into your natural wants, because if you're really attached to getting things, then you can't really tune into what it is you want in the moment, because you're constantly checking to make sure you get it, or you're trying too hard to get it. Whereas actually your natural flow is just flow, and it doesn't really matter. You give out your want, so you want someone to do the cleaning up for you, you give that out, and then you just let it be there, and if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't really matter. But wanting is expansive, so to me that's more in line with consciousness, which is what you are, expansiveness. And so living a more balanced life, you will be more in tune with the wanting, and this is an expansive and positive energy. And reconditioning yourself to that, to something like law of attraction, I think is positive on the human level. And I think this makes more human, more balance in humanity. But it's not a personal thing, because who is this person that's doing it? It's just a reconditioning that happens that's completely impersonal through recognition of yourself and through evolving on the human level. But that's not something that you do. So something that I do in one-to-one sessions is encouraging people to discover what it is they want naturally and what it is they're saying. So for an example, if you have, so say you've got a difficult relationship with your father. When you go and meet your father, you might be in constant don't want. You don't want him to nag at you. You don't want him to be rude. You don't want him to say this or to say that or to ask you about this. So when you go into the relationship, you're already closed energetically, because not wanting closes your energy down on the human level. Wanting makes you feel expansive, and you can play with this and notice it. Like when you want in the positive, you feel more happy. And to me, if you go in with that energy of not wanting your dad to be a certain way, you're already going in with a difficult energy that he will energetically pick up on, because we're communicating a lot energetically. We're communicating verbally, but we're also communicating a lot energetically. So you're going to affect the way that your dad interacts with you on the human level by going in with that attitude. So one thing that I'll do with people in sessions is, how is it that you would like your dad to be? And sometimes that can be really difficult because people are so invested in all these not wants. And so the idea of your dad saying he loves you, your dad appreciating you, and when you say all these things to yourself, you'll notice your vibration becomes more positive and more open. And so when you go and meet your dad, like, to me, the best way that you can be your most expanded, balanced place on the human level is recognizing what you want on positive. You want your dad to be friendly. You want your dad to appreciate you. And I believe through doing that, you will actually affect and change your reality, because reality is not happening logically. We think it is. And that is law of attraction. It's if the human changes their energy, the human body, it will change the external reality, because they're, again, not different. So I hope that makes sense. That's so complex to try and put into words. You can't understand. I can feel that so intuitively, but translating it into words is difficult. And I don't always do it. It's something that I work on. Like, I'm sometimes in don't want. And then normally I get it. Whatever I want or don't want.